Hi, I'm Laurie from Madison Avenue Bookkeeping, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to import a customized chart of accounts specific for mental health practices. All right, let's get started. So let me explain the most important thing in bookkeeping that you really need to understand before you get started. I work with a lot of people, so mind you, if this is already seeming too much, just remember I offer QuickBooks coaching and we can do this together and you don't have to do this alone. But let's start on the first thing we do once you have purchased the QuickBooks. There's a thing called a chart of accounts. And if you're not familiar with bookkeeping, the chart of accounts, there's two sections. There's income and expenses. That's the money you bring in, and it's good to determine ahead of time if you want a lot of detail in that income. And then there's your expenses, and that is items like software and rent and automobile and licenses and all of that stuff. There are also things called assets, liabilities, and equity. So the assets, when we go to look at this chart of accounts, that's your bank account and any furniture that you might have in your office. So those would be assets. Liabilities would be the balance on your credit card and or if you have a line of credit or any type of loan. Equity is the money that you have either contributed or taken from the business. So those are really important things to understand, that these categories are in those types of things. One is an income statement, that would be, or profit and loss, that's your income and expenses, which then shows you how much you made less how much you spent is how much your net profit is. Okay, so now let's go look at this. Over on the left, I'm going to click accounting, and here are chart of accounts. So if you look up on the top left under create, it says bookmarks. So I use chart of accounts all the time. So I'm going to bookmark it so it's easy for me to get there. So this is the list of categories QuickBooks has given you to start out. But I have, and from other YouTube videos, but I'm just going to link it in the description here, I have a chart of accounts that works very well for mental health practices. So what we're going to want to do is get rid of all of these things that QuickBooks has made for us, and then we are going to import the chart of accounts. Even on my download screen for my chart of accounts, it warns you, if you don't, this is really only to be done or used in this sense as an import if you have a brand new file. Please do not import my chart of accounts if you've already started a file. You're going to have a mess. You're going to have double entries. You're going to have 2 or 3 of everything. So this is very clear, only to be used if you have a brand new file. Okay. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So it's an Excel spreadsheet with everything I believe you would need. And then, of course, you can always add codes. But what we have here is a lot of stuff you're not going to need, and that is just going to make things harder. So I'm going to go through a little bit of it, then I'm going to pause the video, and then I'll get it back when we're at 0. So if I just select everything, and I click batch actions and say make inactive, we're going to have some issues, so some of them will not be deactivated. And these aren't actually like deleted, but they are what they call deactivated. Okay. And some cannot be done, so now we'll look at them. So anything that had a sub account has to be unsubbed in order to make it inactive. So right now, I'm going to show you how to do 1 or 2, and then I'm going to come and just do this on my own and then come back to the video. So all I do is say, I unsub it like that. And then when I go to, let me do office supplies so I can show you. So I say edit office supplies. I take it out of the sub. Now it will allow me, it's down in expenses. So see this green thing, that BAL means it's a balance sheet. That was the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity is that. And the P&L, profit and loss, are your income and expenses. So if I go to office supplies, Now it's outside. It used to be subbed under office expense. I will down click, make inactive. Yes. Now it let me. I'm going to go unsub everything and then I will be back. Okay, so I've made everything deactivated, and the certain items that I haven't deactivated, I'll explain why. These accounts, QuickBooks will not let you deactivate for any reason. So what I do is go into the name. If you click over here, you can click edit. And I added 3 X's in front of these category names. That way it stays at the bottom of the chart of accounts. And it also means that you should, if you see those 3 X's, you should not use any accounts with X's in front of them. So for instance, personal expenses, we really, please don't have personal expenses inside your bank account and or your credit cards. And if you do, I will show you how you would make one specific to the year. And we would call it like 2025 draw, meaning you're taking money. And if you were to give money, you would code it to 2025 contribution. Okay, we don't want anything uncategorized. We're importing my chart of accounts, so I got rid of these. And general business expenses is a very weird name, so I don't like that. And we also, again, we don't want uncategorized income or expense. I do give you one category called Ask My Accountant, and that's for you to put anything that you do need to research. So now let's go to the next step, which is importing a file. So I'm going to show you what we're going to import. Now this you can find on our website and in the link in the description. You can download this, but please, again, only import this if you have a brand new file. Now, if you already have a file, you could go and manually add some of these or look at the structure of this chart of accounts and maybe edit your chart to look very similar and or add codes. But you must do it manually at this point if you've already been using QuickBooks. This chart of accounts, you should just print it out if you already have a file going. If you have a brand new account with not one transaction added, you'll do what, if you want, you don't have to, you can import this chart of accounts. It's very specific to mental health practices. Okay, so we're in our chart of accounts. We're going to click the drop down and we're going to say import. Don't have the Excel file open. So I'm going to say browse. Oops, downloads. Down at the bottom right, click next. The only one it's not showing a match for is account number, and I don't have account numbers on there. That's more difficult. Okay, so here we go. Everything looks fine. Okay, so now if you look at your chart of accounts, it's what I imported from my special chart of accounts. So that is step 1 of getting your QuickBooks started. Now you can actually start inputting and connecting a bank account so that you can actually post your QuickBooks and produce a profit and loss.